In the fabled land of Northern California, nestled in the Valley of Sacramento, two friends begin a journey to enlighten the world about their experience living life as a Xennial. But what is a Xennial, you may ask? If you wish to know, then follow them on their adventures.
Welcome to the Xennial Chronicles. This is James.
This is Mike.
And I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better for anybody that was concerned about the illness thing. I definitely was not at, I was maybe at 50% last week.
I was going to say, I was listening to the mix back afterwards, and I
I
heard the cold.
My voice did not sound the same at all.
No, you're sounding a lot better though.
I had a little bit of the Barry White creeping in. That's what happens when I get sick, is that deeper register comes out in the voice. And,
yep.
You can tell when I like look in the mirror as I'm getting ready to leave the bathroom, because bathroom's connected to the bedroom. Mm-hmm. So when I go out for the morning, I exit through the bathroom, because we don't live in the master bedroom. Our bedroom isn't the master bedroom of the house. It's the downstairs bedroom, and it's connected to the downstairs bathroom.
Gotcha.
And so that's how I exit my bedroom typically, is because I go to the bathroom before when you first get up, you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll say something, just some random thing each morning, just to kind of make myself laugh, get a good start on the day.
Okay.
And when it comes out, hey, okay, I'm sick. Something's wrong with me. Because normally it's like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing this morning? Kind of talking myself up. Hey, how you doing, James? Okay, I'm sick. I need to go start taking some medication, because damn, I sound like I should be recording an R&B record. Holy crap. But anyway, I am feeling better.
Yeah.
I had an interesting experience this week that I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
First of all, let's take into thing. We talked about this right before not right before, but a little bit before we started recording. Mm-hmm. This is apparently our 52nd episode.
It is,
and it's been about a year since we started.
Give or take.
So we have a year in of doing a podcast.
We've been officially doing the Xennial Chronicles for a year.
Congratulations to us.
Yeah.
We should have a cake, but I'd eat it all, and you wouldn't have none, because I'm fat.
I'd figure it out.
Anyway. It's great. It's a great thing that we have a whole year.
I don't know what that implies now.
I don't know either.
I am now thinking about what I just said.
Maybe there's references involved. Anyway, it's great though that we've been able to do this for a year. It's been kind of transformative. We've both had a very interesting year. And
absolutely.
In fact, today I wanted to touch on a few of those things, and that has to do with what I went and did this week.
Okay.
So, this last week I was getting back into going to school, because I had taken a week off of school. I took a week off the podcast, week off of school, basically a week off of life, because I thought I was dying. I felt so awful. But I went back to school, and during my healing process, whenever I'm sick, the way I know that I'm starting to feel better, the way I know I'm starting to heal, is I suddenly become even more hungry than I normally am. Now, I make the jokes about the fact
recovering and all that. Yeah, I get it.
I want to make the jokes about the fact that I'll eat, I just made the joke, I'll eat all the cake, I'll eat everything. When in fact, I really don't eat that much. I've just been this size, a fat guy for many, many years, and it would take exercise really to make that change.
Right.
And I'm too damn lazy to exercise. Admittedly, I make the choice not to exercise because, hey, it's an insulating layer and I'm warmer in the wintertime than most people. So I'm good with that. But I really don't eat that much. I literally eat the same amount of food as most ordinary people. I just don't lose anything. I mean, I know people who can eat huge amounts of food. But anyway. When I'm starting to feel better from being sick, my body starts craving more food. I feel more hungry all the time because my body needs the fuel.
Yeah, you've got to recover after.
Yeah, and I eat normally while I'm sick, typically.
Yeah,
but it's like my body's burning through the food even faster when I'm recovering, because it's like, hey, we figured out how to fight off this thing. Now we need fuel to fight this thing off.
Yep.
So last week I was eating a whole bunch because my body's fighting off this, finally fighting it off, getting rid of all this sickness and whatnot. So I was eating like 4 or 5 meals a day as opposed to my normal 3, maybe meals a day. And so I found myself in a situation where I was at school, and school's about 45 minutes away from where I live.
Right.
And I do take food with me, but I did not take enough food because I ate through all my food that I had.
Oh,
so
my.
I was in a situation of I'm really freaking hungry. So I had been looking for a place to stop for food, didn't find somewhere I like. Also looking for a gas station, didn't find a gas station at a price that I wanted. So I ended up in the Natomas area. Okay, for anybody that doesn't know, that's an area around Sacramento, a little north of Sacramento.
Yeah,
near I-5.
Yep.
I found myself in that area. Found a
Okay.
gas station that still was more than I wanted to pay, but I needed gas at that point, so I got some gas.
Right.
But I was hungry.
Okay.
And I was looking around, and there was a make-your-own pizza place, and I didn't feel, it was late at night. I was on my way home. I didn't necessarily feel like I wanted to spend the time to make my own pizza.
Right.
There was a Carl's Jr., which normally I love. In fact, we've had Carl's Jr. The last time you and I ate a meal somewhere, we had Carl's Jr., if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
When we went to see the Metallica
Yes.
thing. We had some Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
So I like Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
But there was another place in this little shopping center I was in.
Uh-huh.
There was a Five Guys.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, hey, didn't we do a podcast where we talked about Five Guys fries?
Yes.
And then being like the best fries that you could get?
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? This is my opportunity. Called the wife, said, hey, I'm grabbing some food at Five Guys. You want anything? She's like, nah, I've never had anything there. I'm not interested. I'm like, all right, fine. So I go in to grab some food. First of all, have you been to a Five Guys? Remember, if I remember correctly, you haven't, right?
I have not. I didn't
Okay.
know that there was one in town.
I guess there's
Are
a
there
couple
multiple?
There's a couple in different locations. I just happened upon this one with luck.
Wow. Okay.
And so I go
That's
in.
decent.
First of all, the menu is quite limited. The only thing they really sell there are hamburgers and hot dogs.
Okay. That means that they're really good at those few things.
Well, that's and then their fries. Now they do offer, and yes, you're right. They that usually
Yeah.
would mean they're really good at those things. They offer basically any topping that you can think of for your hamburger for free.
Right.
The hamburgers are a little pricey, I will admit,
Okay.
but that's to be expected if it's somewhere that focuses just on that.
Right.
You get paid for what you get. I mean, when you buy the $1 hamburger at like McDonald's, you're going to get a $1 hamburger.
Right.
It's a thin patty. It's maybe got a sploosh of ketchup and mustard on it and a couple of pickles and a kind of cardboardy bun. That's what
Okay.
you kind of expect for
yeah,
a dollar.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't expect anything that's gourmet quality.
No.
When you're paying for just a single quarter-pound patty and the burger itself is $6, you expect a pretty decent burger.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's not too pricey for some people. But
yeah, but at the same time, the meat's got to be at least decent. And then you don't want the bun to look like it came off a off a Chinese assembly line or something like that.
They also serve milkshakes there. And interestingly enough, if you eat in, they actually have a little thing of peanuts where you can scoop up some peanuts and eat some peanuts while you're waiting for your food.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat, having some peanuts.
All right.
And there's
Peanuts?
in the shell, peanuts in the shell. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a little box they have that you can scoop. You can get a little, like one of those paper, like serving things, the paper or cardboardy, like, oh gosh, how do I describe it? It's a little bowl that like they would serve you food in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put your hamburger in there, put your fries in there, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You get one of those, and you can scoop up some of the peanuts. And again, they're in the shell, so it's not like it's
Right.
there's
Right.
peanuts around.
Right.
And you take the peanuts back to your table and eat some peanuts while you're waiting for your food.
Okay. Wow.
And then milkshakes that have like 20 different things you can have put in your milkshake.
So they put all the variety in their milkshakes.
Oh yeah, variety in milkshakes. So this is like
Okay.
this is a full on burger joint. And again, they have the hot dogs,
Interesting.
but this is a burger place.
Okay.
So I'm there and I'm like, okay, well, I have to try the fries. I
Right.
have to,
Right.
Because that was the whole point of seeing this was it reminded me of the fries.
Right.
So I got to get me some fries. But James really loves hamburgers.
Okay.
Like really loves hamburgers.
Yes.
So I got to have a hamburger. And I was tempted because I like hot dogs too.
Right.
But I was like, I need a hamburger. I
Okay.
need to try this.
Yeah.
And I went with their basic hamburger because they're basic because their main hamburger is a dual patty, 2-patty hamburger.
Okay. What their main burger
Their main
is a
burger
double?
is a double patty. I went with their small burger, which has a single patty, because I was just trying to get a baseline.
Yeah.
I almost got it. They serve it plain unless you ask for the things on it. You have to ask for everything that you want on it. I almost got it plain just to put my theory into proper
Just to
play.
see if it's a proper burger.
But I said, you know what? I'll take some mayonnaise. I'll take some lettuce. I'll take some tomato. I'll take some pickle because those are kind of the basics
Yourself
of
a
a
little
burger.
bit of give yourself a little bit of
little bit of
flavor, a little bit of tart.
a little bit of roughage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You gotta have texture.
And then I got the burger. I got the fries.
Okay.
Now it took a little while to make because they make it fresh, so it was maybe 7-8 minutes waiting,
Okay.
which isn't too bad.
Right.
But still, I get my food.
Okay.
First thing I try, because I'm waiting on the fries. I'm waiting because I saw that they were super hot. They came right out the fryer, boom, 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 right into. And they do the thing. They have a cup that they put the fries in. So you get the fries in a cup. Cup gets put in the bag, and then they scoop fries and dump them on top, which is one of the reasons why I think people like it so much. And when I asked people
they
about
give you
it,
a ton of fries.
When I asked people about Five Guys, people that had gone there after we did our episode,
right?
I said, what's so special about Five Guys fries? Tell me what's so special. Well, they give you a whole lot of them. They'll give you an extra scoop in when they give you, your thing of fries. I'm like, okay, so a lot. That's a big deal. That is a big deal because, if you get more fries, isn't it always nice when you?
It's good to have more than what you ask for.
Well, and it's also nice.
You know what I mean?
Like,
you think one serving, but it's actually two.
Well, that. And then also when you have the fry container, be it the whatever container comes in, be it a little baggie or like the cardboardy things or a cup.
Right.
You finish that off and you're like, oh, I'm done. You pull that out of the bag and there's still fries at the bottom of the bag. That's like the best fries. The only thing that's better than that.
That's you got a point. You got a point.
The only thing better than that is if you're like eating regular fries and suddenly you grab a curly fry or a seasoned fry because it's a bonus.
You
bonus
get a
fry.
Yeah, it's like that's a fry I didn't pay for.
Or a bonus onion
For some reason,
ring.
it's like a hidden treasure.
Yes, it's amazing.
I know what you mean.
Well,
it's the weirdest thing. It's such a childlike thing to think of. But
whoa, bonus fry.
Yeah, totally. I'm right there.
By the way, let me add. If you have the fries in the situation where like you're eating at the restaurant, and you have the fries out, and say your significant other is there with you and wants to have wants to like share your fries because they got just like a sandwich or a burger or whatever.
Right.
If there's only one bonus type of fry in there or bonus onion ring or whatever. If you're not the one who ordered that, you do not get to grab the bonus. The person who ordered it gets the bonus.
Okay.
So your significant other, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband,
they
whatever.
They get the bonus if they ordered it.
If they ordered it, they can have the bonus curly fry in your regular fries. If not, they should respect the fact that that's your fry and you got the bonus fry. So you should be able to enjoy that bonus fry. Now, if they offer you, like it's me with my wife, and I offer her the bonus fry, that's fine. But she shouldn't reach in and grab that bonus fry because that's my damn bonus fry. If she wanted to if she wanted the possibility of a bonus fry,
you've really thought about this.
Bonus fries are important. Anyway, I saved the fries for secondary.
Okay.
Had the hamburger first.
Okay.
That was a mistake.
Really?
It was a huge mistake.
You didn't like it?
Because the fries were not as important to me anymore.
Oh.
The hamburger was fucking amazing.
Really?
So amazing. Life-alteringly amazing.
I'm taking a trip to Natomas, damn it.
I mean, the point.
There's a place I wanted to go to out there anyway, and I'm actually on the way out, so I might just stop by and get that food on the way back home and bring it back.
Seriously? To the point
bring it back to the wife and be like, you know what, we're having this.
No, it's to the point where it literally makes me want to go there and the bad part is it's so difficult for me because it is on my drive home from school.
Oh no.
My drive home, I get onto the freeway right around that area.
Right.
I switch freeways right around the Truxell Road area.
Right.
So it's right there.
Right.
It's right there. I mean, I could boom, 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 get it.
Okay.
And any day I want to, and believe me, the temptation is already in my brain that, oh my God, this burger was so good. I don't even need to get the fries. I can just go in and get 2 burgers and be happy.
I love it.
It's so good. Now, I will say, of all the burgers I've tried in this area, in our Northern California area, this would be number 2 on my list. The number 1 place no longer exists. It burned down in a fire back in 1997.
Oh.
So sadly, it's been over 20 years since I've been able to get a burger from that place.
What place was that?
It was a place called the Whistle Stop Diner. It was up. It was up in the
hills.
No, you wouldn't have because it was up in the hills.
Okay, yeah,
It was up in the hills
heard of it.
by where my father currently lives and where I used to live as a teenager. And it was like at the time it was one of the only real. One of like 3 or 4 restaurants really in the area. There was a pizza place that was there that made awful pizza. There was this place, and then there was like 1 or 2 other places where you could get food. This was like kind of the destination up in the hills there. And they had a burger that literally you needed to put your elbows on the table to eat this thing and put a pile of napkins under each one of your elbows while you were eating this because you just had juices and stuff flowing down your arm. You want to talk about places that are called greasy spoons? This restaurant was a greasy spoon. It was made in a train car.
Cool.
Hence its name, the Whistle Stop Cafe.
Cool.
And this had the guy that cooked for this place. I think he was the owner, but I know he was the guy doing the cooking.
Right.
This is the type of guy that had at least a day and a half of salt and pepper stubble at all times. Right.
Okay.
Barely looked like he was maybe 5'8" and barely looked like he was 130 pounds. So older guy, right?
Right.
And chain smoking all the time. He always had a cigarette in his mouth. Even as he's flipping burgers, he's got a cigarette in his mouth. This is exactly what you think of when you hear the words greasy spoon. That's what this dude was. Jeans, apron that's like half kind of tan almost.
Okay.
Just that type of a look to it. This is the food that like somebody that's really OCD about cleanliness would probably be like, no, I'm not eating at this place. People that know what real food tastes like are like, yeah, I'm going to deal because the food is freaking amazing. This is such good food. Wow. It's just one of those places that, is back off of the road, off the main road that you find as a gem. That was an amazing burger. I loved the Whistle Stop burgers.
Yeah.
The other decent one that I've had is from a little kind of hole in the wall place in Wheatland. Okay. Of all places. They also make an amazing milkshake. The place is called Elkins.
I've never even seen it.
Yeah, it's a little place right on the right literally at the first stoplight when you come into Wheatland.
Yeah.
It's right there on the corner.
Okay.
And it's a little diner type place. They serve, burgers, chicken strips, corn dogs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Their burger, really damn good.
Okay.
Really damn good. Just the meat is perfect. The veggies are nice and crisp. The bun has good chew to it.
Okay.
Really, really good burgers. But the Five Guys burger, better than Elkins.
Really?
Better than Elkins. Now the fries, which is the real reason I went there. And again,
I'm curious about the fries. That's what we were.
It was so hard for me to eat the fries afterwards because that burger was so good. I wanted to turn around and get a second burger, give them the fries back.
Damn.
Before I even tried the fries, I was like, I need another one of these burgers. But I'm like, no, I got to try the fries. First of all, the fries have a different kind of seasoning on them. They're not just salted.
Okay.
They got kind of a little bit of almost like having seasoned fries, but not with the coating that you get on seasoned fries. Whatever they put on, very similar to the Red Robin seasoning that Red Robin used to put on its fries.
You're making me think Red Robin when you say that.
Yeah, very much like that. Very much reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
But the key to these, which as I think back on that list, this is kind of what's getting in my brain. The key to these is that they are hand cut homemade fries.
Okay.
And I would say they were pretty good. They weren't great. They definitely weren't top of my list.
Okay.
But they were pretty good. I think I know why, though, people are putting this as high as they're putting this.
Why?
I think it's because most people have never really had homemade fries.
Like true, real homemade.
True, real, cut a potato, make a
Yeah.
fry out of the potato. I think most people have not really had true homemade fries. If they've had homemade fries, they've been frozen fries that they either
Right.
baked in the oven
Right.
or they fried in their fryer, but
Right.
it's not real homemade fries.
Okay. I
And I
can
think
get behind
that's where people are like, oh my God, these things are amazing. As far as homemade fries go, I can make better homemade fries than what I got out of Five Guys. The ones I make at home,
that. Right.
I do double fry my fries.
Okay, so you get nice and crisp.
I've been told that a triple fry is even better by one of our listeners. One of our listeners have actually said that it's better.
Okay.
But my nephew.
So the concept of that is just like, holy smokes, like that's a lot of frying. And I know they're called fries. It's not really that. There's no rules to it, but
it's actually
like how much.
You're not getting more oil in it. You're not getting more oil in it.
Oh, really?
No, it actually is. It's just cooking it longer and differently.
Okay.
But they're not any more oily than if you had done it just one time through.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
But I've always done a double fry. You fry at one temperature, a little bit lower temperature. And then you rest the fries, and then you fry them again at a higher temperature, and that's what gets you the nice crispiness, the nice fluffy, or floofy as I like to call it, in the middle.
Floofy. I remember the conversation about crispy outside, floofy inside.
Yep, crispy outside, floofy inside.
Yep.
And that's the thing is these were good.
Okay.
But like I said, I can do better for the homemade fries.
Okay.
I can personally make homemade fries that are better. And again, I think that was the big allure. And so it was a little bit of a letdown, but at the same time, if I compare them to other fast food fries, other fries from places where you can, again, pick up the food, put it in a bag, and take it home, the only other place that I can think of that I'm looking for fries is probably at McDonald's. And just because if you eat McDonald's fries when they're hot, they're amazing. The second they start getting cold, they're awful.
Yep.
But as long as they're hot,
they just become soggy. They become immediately soggy.
And
the thing is, they're a lot crisper. Yeah, they're a lot crisper when they're hot.
Yeah.
And then they all of a sudden just lose all of it, and it's just like they all turn into wet noodles.
Yeah, soggy, starchy mess.
Yeah.
And so when they're hot,
and it sucks.
When they're hot, they're the very best.
They're great for 3 minutes.
Yeah, about that.
You better slam those suckers.
But otherwise, that was my experience at Five Guys. I finally got the opportunity to try Five Guys fries, and again, not bad. But the burger, so the
really,
the
burger turned you around. That was
the burger is what you want to be there for. If I go back there again, when I go back there again, because there's really not an if involved. When I go back there again, it will be for a burger.
Yeah.
And then maybe for a shake for the wife. If I get her a shake, she'll let me keep going back for the burgers because she likes herself some shakes. But yeah, that was my experience this week. Was dealing with that. How about you? I know you had a little bit of a rough week, but didn't you have an interesting experience this week as well?
Well, as far as this last weekend, it was all right. Mainly work.
Yeah, you mainly worked. You did mention something earlier, which I do want to kind of give people a lead in on this. You mentioned something earlier about how you were at work. I think was it this last week that they had that movie on at work in the break room, or was that a while ago?
Yeah.
I was kind of inspired this weekend because I was watching some movies at home.
Yeah,
and I happened to just for shits and giggles, I happened to catch an old movie that was, being a sci-fi movie fan, was always a big movie for me. I loved the movie when it came out, even for all of its plot holes and even for the fact that Roland Emmerich just likes to destroy crap. But the movie Stargate is what I saw. And I'm watching Stargate, and funny, interesting to me that Stargate has James Spader in it, who plays the Doctor role, right? Kurt Russell, who is the actual impetus for this conversation, but for now we're just doing James Spader, Kurt Russell,
okay,
and then one of the first roles that Djimon Hounsou had. Djimon Hounsou is an African actor.
Yes.
He was in Amistad. That was his big breakthrough movie. But this is one of the first real roles he had. He was in The Island.
Wait, who did he play in The Island? Oh,
he's the black guy.
He was in. He was also in Gladiator, wasn't he?
He was in Gladiator.
I know exactly what you're talking
Guardians
about.
of the Galaxy movies.
That's okay. Yes. I know who you're talking about now.
Which is
I never knew his name. I was just like,
his name is Djimon Hounsou.
Okay, I was like that. I was like, I remember every time I see him, I was like the one badass African dude in every
he's actually
awesome
African.
movie. Yeah,
he is African. He's from Africa. I do not know which country in Africa he's from.
Right,
but his accent is real.
Yes, I do know that.
And his name starts with a D, by the way, but it's pronounced Djimon.
Okay.
But he's an amazing actor. He's done some great things. In fact, one of my favorite movies.
I didn't know he was in Stargate. Well, I mean, when Stargate came out, I was a kid. He
was one of the bad guys with the motorized helmet things.
He was?
Yes, he's one of those Egyptian-looking bad guys. Yeah, he's one of them.
Oh.
So you only see his face at certain points in time.
Okay.
And you wouldn't recognize him because at that point, he wasn't known by anybody. That was one of his first
like his
real
breakthrough role, I think, was Gladiator.
No, Amistad.
It was Amistad?
Amistad
Did Amistad come before Gladiator?
Yeah, okay. Amistad was his real breakthrough.
Okay, I actually never got to see Amistad. So
I've never seen Amistad, it either, but I know at least a little bit about it.
I just remember how awesome he was in Gladiator. It was like, why didn't they focus on this guy
he was
more?
He was awesome in Gladiator.
I knew the story was for Russell Crowe's character, but
and he took
Maximus,
the part,
which literally just means big guy.
Yeah, he took the part in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies because he wanted to do something that his kids would be able to enjoy with him, and that he'd get maybe an action figure for. And his kids wanted to see a black superhero of some type, or somebody black in superhero movies. So he was there for it. What I find interesting about it is those names I just listed off: James Spader, Kurt Russell, Djimon Hounsou, all in this movie, all played villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Again, Guardians of the Galaxy with Djimon Hounsou, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Kurt Russell as Ego, the Living Planet, and then James Spader was Ultron, the voice of Ultron.
Yes. Oh,
so
wow.
kind of amusing that they all, as I'm watching it, I'm going, wow, we have three MCU villains here. Awesome. Yeah. But the movie got me inspired with the idea that at some point, not today, but at some point, I thought to myself, we need to have a conversation about Kurt Russell, because this is an actor that, like, he's been in so many cool things during our childhood and our lives.
He's really underrated for the types of roles he takes.
Except by of
work
course
he does on films while he's working on.
Except of course by Walt Disney, who literally and I did the research. It wasn't the last thing he said. The last thing he wrote down was Kurt Russell's name. It was the last thing he wrote before he died. Kurt Russell's name.
Whoa.
He had like some obsession with Kurt Russell. I think he believed that Kurt Russell was going to change the world in some way, shape, or form. Maybe he has.
Huh.
And so I think next week we're going to have our conversation about Kurt Russell. So I'm just kind of planting the seed now for people to know. Next week we're going to have a conversation about Kurt Russell.
He's going to tell me to take he's telling me to take a week to quiz myself right now.
Well, actually, I'm telling Mike to take a week to come up with his 5 favorite movies that Kurt Russell is in.
Yes.
And then I want some personal Kurt Russell stories. Like, I will share one really quickly here. I actually saw one of Kurt Russell's worst movies ever in the theater. It's part of a birthday party. No, worse than Soldier.
Really?
Which Soldier isn't that bad a movie.
I actually, I remember seeing it as a kid, and I thought Soldier was halfway decent.
Soldier's not that bad a movie. No, I saw Captain Ron in the theater at a birthday party.
Oh, why did you take a birthday party to a theater?
It wasn't my birthday party. It was somebody else's birthday party.
Who takes a birthday party to a theater?
We were in middle school. They thought it was cool to go to a theater for their birthday party. I think Captain Ron was a little bit more salacious than what the family expected it to be. But I saw that thing in the theater, man. Wow. That's, for anybody that hasn't seen Captain Ron, go watch it.
Yeah,
that's
you need to see it.
A funny movie.
It's hilarious, but it is not appropriate.
That shows the range that Kurt Russell has in various things.
I mean, there's other films. Now, when we're talking about it here, are we talking about overall films in general? Because there's films that are not like action films or drama films.
Kurt Russell, your 5 favorite performances in a film by Kurt Russell.
I think I'm going to surprise you with 1 or 2 of them.
You might. I'm pretty sure that at least 2, possibly 3 of ours will be the exact same movies.
Okay.
I'm hoping that 2 of them are.
Okay.
I mean, 1 for sure.
Okay.
We know
yes,
for sure.
We
1.
know for sure.
The second one,
we might as well say that one last. We've already got agreement.
The second one, I'm hoping that it's one of your favorite roles of his, because if not, I don't know how much of friends we can be anymore.
Are we going to go with like top 5s?
The top 5 of our personally.
Okay.
Top 5 that you personally like, top 5 I like. And then we're going to talk a little bit about his history as an actor and the things that he's done. Go over some of his movie choices.
Yeah.
Go over, you can tell even though
I'm going over the films right now, and I am really thinking about like...
But this
having to, I want to try to watch as many of these as possible. Yeah, at least one. Just be like, you know what? I haven't really sat and watched, X movie in years, so maybe I should, you know.
I agree with you on that. There's some that are worth, and that's why watching this one, it was like, yeah, okay, Kurt Russell. I remember him in this, and I loved him in this. I thought he was great. He had a character arc, and the arc did pretty good.
Yeah.
In this movie. This is good. I like it. But this has also inspired me to have other actors that mean something to us Xennials that were important during our years growing up, and maybe talk about some of their movies too.
Yeah.
So right now, before we take a break, I want to say, if anybody listening to this has any actors as Xennials that meant something to them, or even not as Xennials, if there's actors that you think meant something to the Xennial generation because maybe we talk about them or they're in our memes or they're whatever, please comment. Let us know.
Let us know, and we'll
can talk about
mention it next week.
So right now we're going to take a break.
It's a call to action.
It is. Right now we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about something that's related to one of our first ever episodes. Mm-hmm. Our first ever episodes, we talked about telephones.
Yes.
And how telephones have changed. Uh-huh. Well, I had an experience recently at my school, which is populated by a large age group of people, from people that are 18, 19, all the way up to people in their 40s and 50s, because it's a technical school. It's a vocational school. Mm-hmm. So this is people going back to school, or maybe even just trying this instead of like college or all those things.
Okay.
And this has to do with a bit of technology that I use that to me seems pretty advanced, but to some of these younger people, they see me as the old man using old technology. But to me, it's newer technology.
Okay.
So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how James listens to his music.
Oh, man. Great.
We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, friends, this is Mike from the Xennial Chronicles reminding you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Xencron, spelled Xenchron, to keep up to date on all things TXC. And please check out our official website, thexennialchronicles.com, or if that's too much to type, Zencron.com. Thanks again for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we are back, everybody.
Woohoo!
So, what we're going to talk about right now is again, old man James using old technology.
Oh, yes.
It seems like new technology to me. And this kind of goes back to our phone conversation. And we've talked at various times about the different media that we've had to use for movie watching, for instance.
Right.
For our music listening. And that's the big issue here is the music listening. What I use for music. I know we do discuss like some of the first cassette tapes that we got. I think we discussed that at one point, didn't we? On one of the podcasts. Like, do you remember the first cassette tape that you got? I remember mine.
The first full cassette tape that I received. I remember the first.
Probably the first CD for sure, but.
The first. Yes, I remember the first CDs I had gotten.
What were they?
Core and Purple by Stone Temple Pilots.
Those are good.
13 years old, and they were a birthday gift from a friend of mine.
That's more respectable than what my first CD was.
Uh-huh.
Mine was Garth Brooks' The Hits.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I know. Of all things.
Man.
Of all things. I was into country music at that point.
You were?
Yeah.
What?
A very short-lived thing.
Wow.
Well, I moved from being in the East Bay up into the hills. Everybody listened to country music.
Right. So I guess sort of justified. I understand.
To an extent. I was trying to fit in because I was dumb and didn't know any better.
I get it.
And I hadn't been introduced to, I had been introduced to Metallica,
against
but
country music. It's just the fact that I would never expect you to even think of.
Oh, dude, it would be scary for you to be sitting in a room with me and country music from like the 90s to come on.
Yeah.
Because I would start singing along and you'd be looking at me like, what the hell happened to you? Have you been possessed by a demon? I mean, do I need to start in Omni Patre, e Filii, e Spiritus Sancti? Do I need to really start? Do I need to start that crap with you? Do I need to get a Catholic priest over here? I mean, damn.
I'm trying to think of the first full cassette that I had, and the farthest back I can think of a cassette that I knew that I had as a kid was Weird Al Yankovic's Polka Party.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's the
Points
oldest
to you, sir.
Legit cassette that I can remember having.
I can remember the first cassette I got because it came at the same time as I got my first portable cassette player. And I say portable cassette player because technically Walkman is a brand name for Sony. Uh-huh. The Sony Walkman is a specific brand thing. It's like calling everything that you every cotton swab that you put in your ear.
Yeah,
it's like calling every one of those a Q-tip. No, Q-tip is a brand name.
Right.
Cotton swabs are what they are. A portable cassette player is what it is. Sony Walkman is a brand name.
Right.
My first portable cassette player was a yellow thing that had a rubber kind of grommet inside of it, and it locked into place, so it was supposed to be waterproof. You could have water spill on it and it wouldn't damage it because the rubber grommet sealed it.
I thought there were Walkmans that were waterproof.
There were Walkmans, but this one wasn't a Walkman. This one was just some off-brand bright yellow with a gray rubber grommet thing, cheapy thing.
That's hilarious because I know that official Walkmans were of that color scheme as well.
This one,
yellow and gray.
This was not an official one, though. I know that for a fact because my parents could not have afforded an official one.
Nice.
But I remember getting it, and then I got that from my parents, and then from my grandparents, I got the first cassette tape I ever got.
Cool.
Debbie Gibson's Electric Youth.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. That one makes more sense to me than Garth Brooks.
Yeah, well, Debbie Gibson. Debbie Gibson. First of all, I do want to comment that she was 16 when she wrote that album.
Yeah,
and she actually has awards for that album, Grammy Awards, and was the youngest person ever to receive.
Wrote that
she
album?
wrote it. Yeah, she wrote the music on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, youngest artist ever to win awards for
mad
the stuff
props,
that she
man.
wrote. Yeah. So still to this day, you put on some old school Debbie Gibson, I'm gonna be rocking out.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a major crush on her. Total. But anyway.
I get it.
I eventually got...
Debbie Gibson was hot, man.
Yes, even as she got older, she did a spread in Playboy.
I did not know that.
She did, yes.
Fun.
Yes. Especially for young James when that first happened. And like, oh, Debbie Gibson's naked now? Awesome. I've been thinking about that for a while. Now I get to see it. But I eventually graduated up to an actual real Sony Walkman. I had a huge amount of cassette tapes. Now, I want to keep in mind that when even before I got my own cassettes, I did have some music media on my parents' stuff, the stuff that they used.
Yeah.
I didn't have any records that were my records. I listened to my parents' records. A lot of Elvis Presley and Paper Lace, Neil Sedaka.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times I heard The Night Chicago Died by Paper Lace, and it was on 45, and my mother would play it.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that
45.
song. Yes.
It's funny because I have a memory of that song, too. My stepdad had picked up, it was like a greatest hits CD, 70s greatest hits CD, and The Night Chicago Died was on that one. And I used to play out in the backyard with my little brother, and we would run that greatest hits CD, but it was like, dude, there was like, oh my goodness, Run Joey Run, Billy Don't Be a Hero, The Night Chicago Died.
Love Billy Don't Be a Hero. You know that Run Joey Run, they redid that in the TV show Glee.
No.
Yes, they did. It's actually it's a funny episode, but it's such a terrible song. They totally they covered that song, redid that song.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Such a bad song.
It is a terrible song.
Billy Don't Be a Hero, that was another one that I think she had.
Yeah.
Again, Yellow Polka Dot Bikini by Neil Sedaka. I don't even know how many times I heard that song. But I actually had a few.
Night Chicago Died was a killer song, though.
Night Chicago Died. Somebody needs to cover that song.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Sure.
We'll do it at some point. We need to do that. But I actually had a couple of 8-track tapes because my parents had an 8-track player not only in the car, but they had an 8-track player in the house. So I actually had a few 8-track tapes.
Oh man, 8 tracks. See,
I used to have
my parents never had. I don't remember an 8-track machine at the house when I was a kid. I remember the 45 player and the record player.
Yeah.
And I remember most of the time though they would just listen to the radio. They would just listen to FM radio.
My parents had a setup that had the record player on it and had an 8-track player in it. And then there was an 8-track player in one of the cars. Actually, both the cars.
Got the. I remember they had the console. The stereo, the living room stereo, multi-component console type setup. My dad had it under behind glass and this really nice display, and these floor standing huge friggin' 12-inch. Yeah, floor standing speakers, huge suckers. Sounded fantastic, huge, dude, 12 or 15 3-ways.
That was the house you wanted to hang out at. Is whatever kid parents had that stereo.
Oh yeah,
and hopefully it had the cassette player so that when you got the new cassettes, you could put those in and listen to them. No, that was the hardcore thing back then in the 80s.
I was the one that got into learning how to wire stuff, so I figured out how to hook the VCR up to it, and then hook the Nintendo to the VCR, and have full freaking I was into be like, well, you just need this and this, and here, let's put this in here, and that works.
Not surprising where you ended up with
totally. I was doing it as a kid, but I don't remember 8 tracks really. Just it was more cassette tapes.
I had
and CDs and little boom boxes.
I had an 8-track of the original Chipmunks Christmas album. That was an awesome thing to have. Don't have it anymore. A whole big old story as to why I don't have it anymore. I'll tell you that one off air because that's one I don't necessarily want to bring up on air.
Okay.
But yeah, 8 tracks had records. And then got into the cassette thing finally. Eventually, of course, as the world moved on, and I had a huge collection of cassettes. I finally got into the CDs and having CDs, which we all did. I was a teenager when that happened, 14 when I think I got my first CD player and got that Garth Brooks CD.
Yeah.
Wonderful Garth Brooks CD. I still have, by the way.
You still have it?
Oh, yes. I still have that Garth Brooks CD.
Wow. Yeah.
I will admit, as far as country artists go, there are a few country artists I like. I do like Garth Brooks.
I have
like
amassed and lost large archives of music, but
I think I still have one of your Van Halen CDs and one of your U2 CDs. I think so.
A U2 CD.
I think
I don't remember
maybe
having
Joshua
a U2
Tree.
CD. I don't remember having a U2 CD, but the Van Halen, if it's the Van Halen CD that I think it is, I don't have it anymore. I haven't gotten another copy of it, and I want it.
I will double check when I get home today.
Probably. Does it have Sammy Hagar on it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember
because I didn't buy
it is.
Van Halen 3, but I know that Sammy Hagar was on Van Halen 3, but Gary Sharon sounded relatively similar-ish at the time, at least to my perception.
Yeah. I actually like Gary Sharon as the singer for Van Halen personally.
Who's okay? The album wasn't great.
The album wasn't great, but I like Gary Sharon.
But he's
as a singer.
Great singer. Yeah. Gary Sharon's a
I
fantastic
think
singer.
I personally feel he's a better just singer, pure singer, than Sammy or David. That's just my opinion on pure singing. Just pure singing ability.
It's become very apparent, especially now, that even though David has quite a bit more range than I expected him to.
Yeah.
Like, Different Kind of Truth as an album was really good. That Tattoo single was not
awful.
a fan. It was the opener, too.
Yeah, it was
but
awful.
Everything else on that album is badass.
Okay. I wasn't even interested in listening to anything else on it when I heard the single.
That's what a lot of people, they were turned off to it. They're like, this is crap. And I
also admit that I'm not
a good idea.
I've never really been a big Van Halen fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally the Van Halen song, if you were to play a bunch of Van Halen songs, about the only one that I'm going to sing along to and be interested in is Hot for Teacher. So that tells you exactly where I'm at as far as I'm not a Van Halen fan. I'm not somebody that can be.
I was quite impressed by that. A lot of people were like, oh, that's not whatever. Like, you got a lot of people that were really bitter about that Van Halen album from like 2015.
Yeah.
But I personally love the hell out of it. That aside, there's one that I had way back in the day that I had in high school. It's called Balance. It is a very unsung album. If it's Balance, I want that copy of that CD.
That may be
because
what it
I
is.
do not have any archive of it, and I listen to that album constantly.
Okay, I will. If that's what it is, I will make sure to. Regardless of what it is, I'll make sure to bring it back to you because it's probably loaded on our computer for us to have on our iTunes stuff.
Yeah,
but it's not something that I think either me or the wife is going to listen to on a regular basis. Cool. Neither one of us are really big Van Halen fans.
I get it,
but it's just never.
But yeah, I will definitely take that.
But
sure.
But anyway, when I was a teenager and got into CDs, obviously I got my portable CD player, and that went with me everywhere. I remember having a case that had one big pouch for your CD player and your headphones to go into, and then on top of attached to the top of that pouch was another pouch that you zipped open, and it had the clicky clack CD holder thing. And I was a guy that actually probably surprised you, may or may not be a surprise to you. I was the guy that would go out and buy. Not necessarily expensive, but at whatever big headphones, similar to the ones that we're wearing here.
Yeah, the big
cans. The full ear covering headphones. I always bought either full ear covering headphones
right over the ear.
Or there's one time I bought a couple of pair that were, I think the brand was KOSS, KOSS.
Oh yeah.
These ones had a inline volume, so you could turn the volume up higher in line.
Nice.
And then they also turned flat, so you could put them in your in stuff better, like that. Where the earpieces were, they turned flat. You could not clip up. It's like they had the normal head, the normal head piece on top.
Yeah.
But like where the ear things were, instead of them just sitting like they are, that vertical sitting, you could flip them in like.
Oh, they were those are DJing headphones.
And we would use those. I actually I had an RCA portable CD player at the time that had 2 headphone jacks in it. It was built with 2 headphone jacks. So me and my girlfriend would in high school, we'd listen to the same music going to school. And then when we were doing work at our table and whatnot, because those headphones had the volume up and you could flip them out to where the speakers would face the same direction, we would plug in both sets of headphones, turn the volume up, just set them there,
on the desk.
and everybody could listen to, the music wasn't loud. It was kind of tinny.
It was enough, though.
But it was enough that we had music to sit around and listen to, which unless somebody had invested like $50 in a pair of portable speakers and carried, a crap load of AA batteries around with them everywhere.
Oh, my God. I remember those guys.
This is what we had for portable speakers.
Yeah.
And, that's what we had. And then as I got into, being an adult, not going to school anymore, and the only time I was away from my house was, being at work.
Yeah.
Really. And, you don't really have a lot of time at work to be able to be listening to music.
Right.
I do remember that for a short time, maybe a 2 or 3 month span at Blockbuster while we were working at Blockbuster. Blockbuster used to have, I'm sure you remember, we'd get tapes in, VHS tapes in that were the background stuff on all the TVs.
Yeah.
We had TVs all over the place. We had to play this VHS tape
one
over and over.
VCR that would output to all the TVs.
And you would normally, unless it was a special day where you were allowed to put in certain movies, like we could almost always watch Disney movies on the special days or the days we didn't have our tapes.
Yeah.
But on a daily basis, you had to play this company thing where it had some music videos, previews for stuff, trying to sell things.
Yep.
And for about 2 or 3 months there was one video that got a bit of a workout because it had a music video on it for a movie that was coming out. And whenever I was at work, I made sure to rewind and play that music video over and over and over again.
Which one was that one?
I Disappear by Metallica.
Oh, my goodness.
For the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack.
Wow.
Dude, it was Metallica being played on the TV at Blockbuster.
Yes.
Hell yes, I was rewinding that and playing it over and over again.
I understand.
And I like that song.
I'm back and forth on it. It depends. I think it's written all right. It's just I don't know. I just wasn't. I wasn't big on that one. And then that was now not a lot of people really get this. That's where the St. Anger snare sound came from.
Well, that's also the song that inspired the Napster attack by Metallica. That song
is the one that got leaked.
That song is the one that got leaked.
You're right.
And
it was in the middle of the
Napster.
Mission Impossible. It was on the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack.
Yeah.
I remember that. And there was a lot of good music on that.
That's actually a really good soundtrack
album on that soundtrack. Yeah.
There's a Limp Bizkit song on there.
Oh, there's that one.
There's a song that I think
there is
the
a
Foo
cover.
Fighters do
it's
a cover.
It's a cover of Pink Floyd's "Have a Cigar."
Yeah.
Brian May from Queen is on lead guitar, and
it's the Foo Fighters, right?
It's the Foo Fighters, and it's fantastic. That's my favorite song on that whole soundtrack. But I remember the Limp Bizkit one where they used the Mission Impossible theme as a hook in the middle of it. I remember that one was a huge hit when it came out.
It was big.
That was huge.
That was a hell of a soundtrack.
That one blasted out the Metallica single.
Yeah,
that's how big it was. Everybody knew that song.
But no, I didn't have any music media other than what was in my car, and even in my car at that point was just a cassette player. I even got one of those. I think at that point I got one of the cassette adapters that you'd put it in the cassette player, and it had a line leading off to go into your CD player. Your portable CD player, because I didn't put a CD player in the car. There was already a cassette player in the car, so I would have my portable CD player in the car, plug it into the adapter, put the tape adapter in, listen to my CDs through the tape adapter through the portable CD player. So many things we had to do to get to listen to our music.
Cool.
Back in the day. In fact, I had my CD player stolen out of my car once because of that, because I had it set up like that. But as I got a little bit older, as I got a little bit, getting through having, 2 binders full of CDs, tons of music everywhere, had different stereos at home where I listened to stuff. Finally, at one point or another, I decided to graduate into what I felt was the more modern technology. And so I don't know exactly when it happened. I'm going to say somewhere around 2007 or 8. I finally got myself an iPod, which is not new technology at that point, but to me it was. To me it was newer technology.
I did not get an iPod until about 2015.
Really?
Yes, and it was only because I was running into trouble. It was because I was working sound gigs and I needed something for house music that wasn't my phone.
which makes which is funny because
I already had a smartphone at that time.
Well, this shows the different. This is actually the difference I'm getting into. You're kind of already hitting on where I'm heading.
Yeah.
With this, the fact that you had your smartphone that you were using at the time to do the background music stuff.
Yeah.
And you instead went and got an iPod to give you that background music, so you weren't eating your phone battery and
right
having all that issue.
That was mainly what it was. And I picked up my iPod used at a GameStop for like $40.
I picked up the 3 iPods that we have because we have. We have 2 now. I think we got rid of one of them. But I picked up the ones that we had. And we have 160 gig ones for about $60 at a pawn shop. Used.
Yep.
And
I still like. What's crazy to me is I still find I work live sound in some places, and I do that. So I, just as a strange side point, I find more than one venue that has a CD player, on it, and a little book full of burned discs. Sometimes
that's not surprising.
Which honestly, like, because there's such low worth, like. Nobody's going to steal a small CD player and a small book of discs. They're not going to care, especially if they're all burned. Like, they're not going to care. It makes perfect sense to do. But I remember somebody asking me if I had a CD player once where I was doing a hip hop show, and they didn't have their music on their phone. Okay. And I was like, first off, don't use your phone.
Yeah.
Get yourself a legit music player that doesn't get text message alerts while you're on your set.
Definitely.
And second off, what year is this that you think I have a CD player? Because I didn't. I had to run out to Walmart to go buy a portable CD player for $30 just to do this show.
I would have it on you just to be prepared.
And then after that, I found a use for it. I kept it.
Yeah,
I was like, I might as well, you know?
Well, and that's the thing is, I still have a portable CD player at the house. I have multiple CD players that you can listen to. Actually, I only have one. No, I'm wrong. We don't have any other CD players to listen to music in right now at the house. The one we did have ended up getting broken.
Oh, that sucks.
And they make them cheap nowadays, way worse than they used to. But like I said, we graduated.
That's true. There's not really a concentration on it anymore.
No, we as a family graduated into the iPods, and we got a couple of the docking stations that have the speakers and whatnot.
Yeah,
I have one that's actually a really nice one. It's basically right by my chair where I sit, the couch where I sit in the living room, and I can just put my iPod on there and crank it up and listen to whatever I want to, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But to me, the iPod is such a, compared to what I used to have to carry around just to be able to listen to my music, and like you'd have a thing where maybe you had 12 to 20 CDs you could easily carry with you, and maybe 12 to 24. And beyond that, you didn't have any way to carry anything unless you wanted to carry a giant book with you. Yeah. I had a really nice carrier at one point for my portable CD player. It was like, I don't know, what is that, about 12 inches?
Yeah.
What I'm doing with my hands?
About a foot, yep.
Yeah, about 12 inches by about 6 inches.
Yep.
So inside of one pocket, it had...
2 discs per page.
Yeah, it had 2 discs. It had
2 sides per page, so it's 4 discs on each page.
Yeah,
I've got one of those in the car.
But then connected to it...
I still have one in the car.
Well, connected to that was a pocket that was the right size for your CD player to fit in.
Yep.
And then another pocket that maybe some headphones or some batteries or some
okay.
other things could fit in. So it was a nice little deal. I even had a Metallica patch sewed onto it.
Nice.
And it was what I carried around with me the majority of the time because it was, I could carry all my stuff in it, and it fit in the backpack, and it was great. But like to carry that around now would be problematic. Would be, it's an extra big burden thing. Whereas back in the day, hey, it's what you had to do to have your music.
Yeah.
So I'm at my school the other day.
Okay.
And
I think I know where this might be going.
Ready to do some
I'm
studying.
making a slight guess here.
I'm getting ready to do some studying out in kind of this. They have this kind of quiet area where there's a table, everybody can sit around and study, and read your books, do that kind of stuff. And so I'm getting ready to study, and I pull out my phone so that I can keep an eye on my phone. I have the ringer turned off because I'm definitely not the ass that lets my phone ring whenever.
Right.
When I'm in certain situations, I definitely have the ringer off, and I don't just take phone calls just out of the blue. I'm whatever. We've had this discussion about phone etiquette, but I got my phone out in case I get messages from my wife or something. I can respond. I got my books out. Pull out my my headphones, which are just earbuds at this point.
Yeah.
Because if you try to wear the big headphones, people look at you weird.
Yeah.
I hate earbuds, but you do what you got to do. And I pulled my iPod out.
Okay.
go to plug in my iPod, and I'm at a table with a bunch of the young people, and they're all kind of looking at me funny. And one of them's even chuckling at me. One of the ones I know, and says, "You got an iPod?" Just kind of laughing at me. And I'm looking at all of them. They're all plugged into their phones, listening to their music, watching their things, doing whatever. And it's like the iPod is now the old technology. I'm the old man using old technology.
That's hilarious.
And all they're using are their phones. And it hit me that this is another thing that they see this younger generation sees their phone as. The phone's not just a phone. It's their all-in-one entertainment thing.
What I would do at that point?
Hold on.
Okay.
I know where you're going. Let me finish real quick. I've even seen memes where it shows that I used to have to carry a phone and an iPod. Now all I have to carry is my phone because it's got enough stuff.
Right.
And so, what do you think I should do? I have an idea of what I should do, and it's probably the exact same as yours, but I'm going to let you say it. What do you think I should do? What do you think would be fun?
I would take it to an extreme. I'd pull out that portable CD player and a booklet of CDs and slam that shit on the desk.
And that's exactly when it first happened
whoever
to me.
was laughing at me straight in the fucking face and just go pop, thud with that book.
And I thought, well,
bust it open and just pop one of those
bust
in there.
it open. I think it would be even better would be to not only just bust that open and be flipping the pages. 'Cause you know the sound that those pages make.
Ka-thunk, ka-thunk, ka-thunk.
Flipping the pages, right? Have a little cloth with me so I could pull the CD out, wipe it down, and then when I
No. One more step.
The spray.
The spray, and get one of the CD cleaning discs or one of the laser cleaning discs and pop it in there and do the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a possibility. But no, I'm definitely clean the disc. But then when I go to listen to the CD, flip over the CD player and make sure to change out batteries. Make a big thing of having to change out batteries. Pull out a whole pack, like one of those big 18 packs.
Box.
Yeah, of AA batteries.
9
put
volts.
Some AA's
Boom.
in there, and then just be like, and it's. And then make it a point to set it down on the table and tell everybody, okay, everybody, no bumping the table. No bumping the table. All right?
Yes.
No bumping the table. You can't bump it because if you do, it's going to skip.
Yes.
I thought about it. I thought about it really
that'd
heavily.
be great.
I thought about even trying to find an old cassette.
Okay,
an old
here's
Sony
the thing
Walkman
about cassettes.
and try to do one of those.
I gotta show you. I gotta tell you about this. Okay.
What?
You know that cassettes have made a comeback this year.
Yes, I know that cassettes have started.
Did you know that Sony
comeback.
released an official Walkman with Bluetooth on it?
You're kidding me.
I kid you not.
So you can hook up like your
Cassette tapes
AirPods
to Bluetooth. Yes.
Wow.
AirPods to a Bluetooth Walkman portable cassette player.
I want to get me one of these just to have
These things
it.
are like, by the way, they're like $80.
Really? That's
Yes.
it? That's actually a really good price when you consider the fact.
I mean, hell, I could get a portable cassette player right now for $20. I could go to Goodwill and pick one up for $5.50.
Yeah, you just don't know if it's going to eat your tape or not.
Yeah, that's the catch on that.
That's the worry on that.
Yeah.
Didn't a Sacramento area band recently release one of their albums on cassette tape?
There are multiples that are starting to catch on to that.
Because
my band actually released our debut album on cassette tape in like 2017.
That's
Or it took 2018.
See,
and I still have I found
You're
a
ahead of
company
the
that's
curve.
still this. Yeah, dude. I was like, dude, watch it. Cassettes are going to be the next thing.
well, I mean, records came back, so
Did you know they outsold CDs last year?
cassettes did.
No,
Records did.
Records outsold CDs
That's not
last year.
surprising. That's not surprising.
Vinyl outsold CDs. Like it's
This-
all
the
of it's
thing
coming
is-
back.
the
And
thing
cassettes
is-
because records were so huge, but they're so expensive to produce and they're so expensive to buy. A record costs $30 as opposed to a CD that costs $12.
But the thing is, I can understand this. I can conceptualize
Cassettes are
this.
still priced at $10 to $15 too.
Well,
they're the same price.
Why do you buy the CD and get the digital sound off the CD if you can just get it off of the computer? If you can get it off the internet and
That's
download it to your media.
people are like, well, I stream. Why do I need another disc?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The vinyl is part of the people that are like you and me that want the physical product that are packaging.
And here's the thing. I still get CDs. I like
so do
CDs.
I like having CDs.
The quality
too.
of a CD disc is higher than streaming, and it is higher than the higher than MP3.
I'm a packaging whore. There's
Me
that
too. I went on Amazon. I actually found this not long ago. I went on Amazon last week before, and I found a Hendrix posthumous CD that was out of print since 1997.
Oh, nice.
So, and it was actually one of the most controversial albums because it has the drummer for the Knack on one of the tracks. It's got filling guitars outside of it. It's all posthumously done. Yeah. And obviously, the drummer for the Knack never worked with Hendrix. He died in 1970. But it's a great, the arrangement of the tracks and the production is so bare bones. It's, take all the trippy stuff that Hendrix was doing outside of that.
Yeah.
And you cut it back to a basic track where the songs themselves are not like full of reverb and echo effects. They're just what the songs are.
It's just his fingers on the fretboard.
Yeah,
playing.
that's it. You hear Hendrix as a musician. You hear him as a guitar player. You hear him as a singer. You hear the band, and it's a multitude of different drummers. There's a total of technically 3. The 2 major drummers are the 2 drummers he worked with. Mitch Mitchell, who was the experienced drummer, the British guy, and Buddy Miles, who was the Band of Gypsies drummer. Yeah. And you hear Noel Redding, who was on bass for the Experience, and you hear Billy Cox, who was on bass for the Band of Gypsies.
Okay.
And what this means essentially is that this was it's an unfinished album. The guy went through and he had parts patched in to make sure that the songs were cohesive.
Okay.
And did an album, and Hendrix's estate hated it because it was like the last ditch effort. It was the last year that Hendrix's material was to be owned by the record company, and so
it was their last chance to try.
It was their last chance to make any money off of it.
Makes
They
sense.
were selling to like advertisements, and it really pissed off the estate of Hendrix.
Yeah.
However, the first thing they did when they got their hands on the estate, because they bought it immediately, was they discontinued the albums and had them destroyed. So these albums are ridiculously hard to find. And I found one from Amoeba Records in new shape that still has like the mail-in order cards for like the Hendrix like swag and stuff that came out in the 90s. So I just loved it. I thought it was really cool to have. They did put out an official version of the album. That one is in print, and it is more accurate to Hendrix's vision, but this is an alternate take on that, and I love hearing that.
So is it still like sealed, or is it open?
No, it wasn't sealed. It was opened. It was used, but it was not.
Still.
But the first thing I did was pop that puppy open. The disc is immaculate, and I made a backup of it, and I put it back in its case.
Hell yeah.
It's actually sitting right over there.
Okay, nice. I'll have to see it in a bit.
I'll show you in a minute.
But yeah, it was one of those things that, again, me pulling that iPod out and me getting kind of the looks about it, the old man using the iPod. It's just one of those things like, to me, that's the new technology.
Yeah.
And yet to many of the young people, that's more proof of how old I am.
Right.
Of course, the same thing happened when I was having a conversation. I think it was on Saturday. I was having a conversation about being a manager at a job. Being in management and working in my styles of management and what I used to do as a manager. And the fact that I had, I had an employee that worked under me while I was a manager that I scheduled, because I did the scheduling. I scheduled to always work with me on Friday and Saturday nights. And I knew that if I had that employee go and do closing duties and just worry about doing closing duties, putting movies away, not have to worry about the register. And if I took care of worrying about the register and only called him up when I absolutely needed him, but made sure he was able to do all of those other jobs, that was empowering him to do the best that he could do while he was working there.
Yeah.
And that made sure that I felt like I was doing the right thing as a manager. I wasn't sitting in the back room doing paperwork, doing that kind of stuff. I was keeping the store running, I was keeping the store moving, and I was giving the people I worked with the best chance to be successful, instead of just leaving it on them and then getting mad at them when they weren't successful, when I didn't really help them out any.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was able to be that manager for that employee, and still 20 years later, that's where the conversation came up with the young guy I was talking to about this. He's like, when was it that you worked at Blockbuster? My response was 20 years ago, you little baby. And it's literally what I said to him. He's just laughing at me. I said, yeah, I'm old. Deal with it. But the fact
that's just so weird.
The fact that all those years ago,
to hear that and go, yeah, Blockbuster makes you an old person now.
Yeah, Blockbuster makes you an old person. But I just find it amusing to know the fact that I was able to do that and be a manager like that and still be friends with that employee. You know what I mean? Still be on a friendly basis. Talk to him on a weekly basis. Y'all get to listen to it too. That's the fun part. But no, that makes you old. Yeah, working at Blockbuster, that makes us old now, man.
That's nuts.
We're old because we worked there.
Insane.
But yeah, the iPod made me old, and it was just funny to think about the fact that, again, It's me not understanding what the younger people use their phones at. The fact that I have to use the term younger people.
It's okay, James. Don't have an asthma attack.
I'm trying not to. It's more of a panic attack than asthma. But anyway, but yeah, it's just, goes back to, again, one of the first things that I thought of when we started doing this, when I talked to you about this idea of doing this podcast, how our generation is so. We have so much experience with all these technological changes, and yet at the same time, none of them fully belong to us. I mean, if anything, CDs belong to us because we're the ones that saw the rise of CDs and saw the demise of CDs in many ways. So
pretty much, I think I would say CDs might be it.
CDs are ours.
And what's funny is they're still on the market. People still buy them. People still
but old people still buy them.
Yeah,
like us.
Yeah, we had
people.
A huge record company, a record store, just see its demise because
less than a year
CDs have gone by the wayside.
Yeah, nobody wants.
And it's crazy. To me, it could just be me being old, but I want physical copies of things.
Well, and again, we're seeing with that happening, the record store going out of business because of that. It's the same type of shift in society and their use of technology that happened that put Blockbuster and Hollywood out of business. Is the idea that having those physical copies of things and having the ability to go into the store and pick those things out yourself. The event is only watching the movie or getting the media. The event is no longer going to get it, because that's what it used to be. I remember making a trip down to Sacramento to buy new albums when they came out.
Yep.
Being there at midnight when the album was put on the shelf, and the stores would stay open till midnight for you to get it.
Yep.
That's how I got at least one of my Metallica albums. I think it was S&M. And of course I drove home in a car that didn't have a CD player. But I had the CD.
Yep. That's okay.
I mean,
you didn't care. You're like, I'm going to take this home, I'm going to pop it in, I'm going to throw on a pair of kicking headphones, and all I'm going to
do is listen to it all night long.
Yep.
All night long.
Yep.
And it was the event of going to me and our web guy, Rob. Mm-hmm. He's the one who went down with me to go get the S&M. I shouldn't have taken him with me because he actually got to go see the concert and I didn't. Little ass. But the simple fact is,
he was there. Didn't that show sell out in like 10 minutes?
Yeah,
and this was well before online sales.
No,
stuff.
this is when you had to be in line for it.
Yeah.
Yes, our other friend, the taller friend, he was there and bought the tickets. I mean, he was in line like that morning and bought the tickets immediately. It did sell out almost immediately. The two of them went, and
this was before Ticketmaster and online sales was a major deal.
Yeah, they didn't exist really then.
97?
No, it was
99.
99.
Yeah.
And yeah, he went and bought tickets for them to go. I did not get in on that because at the time my girlfriend at the time wasn't interested in going, so I was a dumbass and didn't want to go without her.
Hey, at least we saw the revisit in the theater.
We did see the revisit in the theater, and because I have a wonderful wife now, and that is not the girlfriend I had in high school and in the beginning of college, which I'm not saying anything bad about that person. I don't know her really now, so I don't know what type of person she is now. I don't want to say anything bad about her. But since I have a wonderful wife, I am going to see what will hopefully be a Transcendent Metallica show.
Yeah.
It will be in the Sacramento area in October.
Yes.
They're doing a festival where they're playing, the festival is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They are playing Friday night, and they are playing Sunday night.
Yep.
Saturday night is My Chemical Romance, which is all right for me. I'm good with My Chemical Romance. But yes, they're going to be doing two separate sets. One set on Friday, one set on Sunday. Not a show that I want to miss at all.
Yeah.
Hence, I already have my tickets for it because I'm going to get my chance to see Metallica in this, especially because I don't know how many more years of concerts Metallica have left in them. If we're old, they're really old at this point. And I don't know how much longer.
Like 60 now.
I don't know how much longer the lead singer is going to be alive. I mean, James and his ways. If he gets back into alcohol again, he just recently did and just came out of rehab for it, which is great. Yeah. But let's hope it doesn't happen again. That's why I want to see them when I have the chance.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, it took 20 more years for him to get back into rehab. That's not a bad run.
No. It's not, but still, I want to try to see them before that happens again.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't end the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe you should see them too.
I think I might.
You might?
Yeah. I think I might have to go for one of those days, man.
I don't know. Maybe Friday?
Yeah, Friday sounds good.
Cool. Maybe you can go on Friday. Anyway, so that's my story of James being the old man with the technology. And again, I think it resonates with again, this generation. We've just had so many technological changes. We find the things we're comfortable with. We find our niche and we kind of stick with it. And for me, hey, I'm happy to have my iPod. It's a 160 gig iPod, and it's not even, I think I got like 21% of it filled with the music that I have. So all I can think of is so much more music I could have. I just don't have the money to buy all of it. But anyway, that's it for today. So Mike, I know people are probably listening to us now if they're hearing me say this.
Yes.
But where can people be listening to us?
Well, you can check us out on our website first off, thexennialchronicles.com or zencron.com if you don't want to type that much, spelled Xenchron. We're also on a lot of the major streaming websites. You're looking at TuneIn, you're looking at Spotify, you're looking at, I believe, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. And we're working on getting more as the time goes by. But our biggest
kind of way to see us is going to be on YouTube. YouTube is where you can find us.
Yes. We
have all of our episodes available on YouTube. Apparently on the podcast sites, according to Mike, they only have the last many.
I can only go as far back as the last 10 episodes or something like that.
But on YouTube,
so this is all of them, and this is our 52nd episode.
52nd. We've been doing this apparently for over a year. Yeah. But this is 52 episodes now. You can find them all on YouTube. Also, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. If you find us on Facebook, please like the page. On YouTube as well. What do? They have to like, right? Or
on
they
YouTube,
subscribe?
Like the video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
That'd be fantastic.
And, click the bell.
Yes, click the bell and make sure that when you do, you receive all notifications if you want, or some of them if you want to do that. And that will let you know when we load a new video or a new podcast up.
Yeah. Give you something to watch. And we do have a few actual videos that have actual video footage of us. That's not just the podcast with a background or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're actual videos of us. One is a very short one of Mike bumping a table and spilling things. The other one is another video of I'm in that video. I'm just laughing at Mike the whole time. The other one is another fun video of Mike attempting to run the podcast without me. And I think there's also a fireside chat video on there of me sitting in a chair at home talking to people. So we will be having more videos at some point or another. But at this point, that's what you got. You got the videos, you got the podcast. It's been a great year doing it. I've had fun. I look forward to what we can do next year. Again, reminder from the first part of this podcast, if you have any actors that you would like us to kind of talk about, I know we've done a few already, Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme. We're going to have a discussion next week about Kurt Russell. If you have any other actors you'd like us to talk about, please leave comments on the YouTube page or on Facebook, and we will see what we can do to talk about those actors. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in, friends. The journey continues next week.